Welcome back to the Friends Podcast. I'm your host, Luna Leon, and our show today is about the dramatic collision of two corporate titans as the shadow of a massive merger hangs in the balance. Okay, so Warner Brothers is trying to make Game of Thrones a movie franchise now, and I need you to appreciate the sheer nerve of this move. After that finale, you know the one. We don't say its name out loud. They're going full tilt on a theatrical film about Aegon the Conqueror, the OG Dragon Daddy. The guy who showed up 300 years before the Starks and said, "These 7 kingdoms are mine now," and actually made it stick. They've got Beau Willimon writing it, House of Cards, Andor. The man knows political power and moral compromise. And the first draft is done. We're really doing this. But here's the thing, and it wouldn't be Game of Thrones without chaos behind the scenes. While Warner Brothers develops this mammoth Dune-sized feature film, their words, not mine, and we'll get back to that comparison, HBO is simultaneously working on a TV series about the exact same story. Same conquest, same Aegon, same sister wives, and dragonfire. It's like watching divorced parents both plan the same birthday party for their kid and refusing to coordinate. That internal tug-of-war tells you everything about the beautiful disaster happening inside this company right now. Because we need to talk about the corporate chaos that's making all of this even messier. Warner Brothers Discovery is being absorbed by Paramount Skydance in a deal worth around $110 billion, with a B. Senator Elizabeth Warren called it an antitrust disaster threatening higher prices and fewer choices for American families. So while David Ellison, Paramount Skydance's CEO, is talking about honoring legacies and building next-generation media companies, there's a legitimate chance the government pumps the brakes on this entire deal. What does that mean for our Aegon movie? Nobody knows. Ellison apparently considers Game of Thrones his favorite Warner show, which sounds promising until you remember we've got no director attached, no cast, just a first draft script, and a whole lot of corporate uncertainty. This film could be greenlit tomorrow, or shelved indefinitely depending on which way the merger winds blow. Let me tell you why Aegon actually matters, though, because this isn't some random Targaryen they pulled out of a hat. As one source said, all of Game of Thrones stems back to him, and you've never seen him on any of the shows. That's the hook. Aegon the Conqueror is the foundation of everything we watched for 8 seasons. He flew in on his dragon with his 2 sister wives, because Targaryens make family reunions really complicated, and conquered 6 of the 7 kingdoms. Dorne held out, but that's another story. Every Aegon we've met is named after him. King Aegon II in House of the Dragon, Prince Aegon in A Knight of the 7 Kingdoms. Even Jon Snow's secret Targaryen name was Aegon. This guy's legacy is baked into the franchise DNA, and yet we've never actually seen him conquer anything. We've only heard the legends, watched his descendants fight over the kingdom he built. The potential here is massive. This is origin story territory, the kind of epic historical fantasy that could genuinely work theatrically. And that Dune comparison they keep making? That's intentional positioning. Warner Brothers wants prestige cinema, sweeping epic, Oscars and box office records. They want dragons the size of buildings and a conquest that feels earned and brutal and beautiful. Willimon is fascinating for this because the man writes power brilliantly. House of Cards was all ruthless ambition and manipulation. Andor proved he could handle massive world building with political complexity. If anyone can make Aegon's conquest feel both intimate and enormous, it's him. But let's keep it real about where this franchise stands. Game of Thrones is still HBO's most viewed show ever. 59 Emmy wins from 159 nominations. It was a genuine cultural phenomenon. People named their kids Khaleesi for crying out loud. But that final season left a taste that still hasn't washed away. The backlash was brutal. Petitions, think pieces, genuine anger from fans who felt betrayed.
Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai.
The franchise has been rebuilding trust slowly. House of the Dragon came out swinging with Matt Smith and Emma Darcy and some genuinely shocking moments. Season 3 drops in June and people are hyped. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms just wrapped with 9.5 million viewers for its finale, a record, and it's already renewed and filming Season 2 in Belfast and Spain. That show's been described as saving the Game of Thrones universe. The goodwill is coming back. The audience is there, but it's fragile. Which is why this movie feels like both a brilliant move and a massive gamble. Theatrical releases mean bigger budgets, IMAX screens, global box office potential. You're not constrained by TV episode runtimes. You can make something truly cinematic. On the other hand, if this doesn't deliver, if it feels like a cash grab, you could damage the brand recovery that House of the Dragon and Knight of the Seven Kingdoms have been carefully building. And here's what nobody's asking. Why develop both a movie and a TV show about the same story? That's not normal. That's not strategic synergy. That's hedging your bets. That's two different teams inside the same company who can't agree on the best way forward, so they're pursuing both options simultaneously. Maybe they'll see which one comes together first and kill the other. Maybe they'll release both and hope audiences don't care. Or maybe, most likely, the corporate merger chaos means nobody actually knows what's happening, so they're keeping all options on the table until someone with decision-making power emerges from the rubble. It's worth noting what's fallen by the wayside. Remember the Jon Snow spinoff? Kit Harington said they shelved it because we couldn't find the right story to tell. Refreshing honesty, but it shows not every idea survives development. There was talk of an animated spin-off about Corlys Velaryon. George R.R. Martin mentioned it, then silence. Projects get announced, scripts get written, and they disappear into the Hollywood void. This Aegon movie could absolutely follow that path, especially with merger uncertainty. No director, no cast, just a first draft and corporate turmoil. Even if the merger goes through smoothly, big if with antitrust concerns, there's no guarantee new ownership prioritizes this film. They might look at HBO's track record with TV spin-offs and decide that's where this franchise belongs. But imagine for a moment this actually happens. Willimon's script gets greenlit. They attach a visionary director. They cast actors who can carry these legendary characters. What does a good Aegon the Conqueror movie look like? You've got this warlord arriving from Dragonstone with 3 dragons and 2 wives who are also his sisters, because Targaryen's gonna Targaryen. And he's got a vision of united Westeros under his rule. The conquest isn't just battles and dragonfire. It's negotiation and intimidation and strategy. It's forging the Iron Throne from defeated enemies' swords. The burning of Harrenhal. The field of fire. The submission of kings who realize they can't fight dragons and win. Done right, this could be The Godfather with dragons. A meditation on power and empire building and the cost of ambition. It could explore Aegon's relationships with Visenya and Rhaenys, 2 very different women who both loved him and helped him conquer a continent. It could show us a Westeros we've never seen, familiar enough to feel like Game of Thrones, but different enough to surprise us. Done wrong? 2 hours of CGI dragon battles with thin characters and paint-by-numbers conquest that wastes the source material's potential.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
The franchise has proven it can still deliver quality with the right creative team. House of the Dragon works because it's genuinely interested in its characters and their impossible choices. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms works because it's intimate and character-driven, even within this massive fantasy world. This movie lives or dies on whether it captures that magic on a theatrical scale. And maybe that's the real question. Does Game of Thrones need to be on the big screen? The franchise built its empire on television, weekly episodes that became cultural events, water cooler conversations and Reddit theories and viewing parties. Television's intimacy allowed sprawling ensemble casts and slow-burn character development and shocking deaths that hit harder because we'd spent hours with these people in our living rooms. Can a 2-hour movie capture that feeling? Or is Warner Brothers chasing theatrical prestige because that's what studios do when they want to prove a franchise has legitimacy beyond the small screen? Right now, all we've got is potential and uncertainty. A promising writer, an iconic story, and absolutely no idea if this movie will ever get made. But that's Hollywood. That's the Game of Thrones behind Game of Thrones. Corporate mergers and creative competition and billion-dollar bets on dragon-sized dreams. We'll be watching to see if Aegon the Conqueror finally gets his moment, or if this becomes another shelved project in a franchise still figuring out its future, one kingdom at a time. Thank you for listening to Friends with Luna Leon. If you liked our podcast, please show us your support by tapping the follow button and rating it 5 stars. That's a wrap.
Grep News. Thomas.